If you're an e-commerce brand with over 5 employees and feeling stuck, you probably have a focus issue. You're not able to work on your business because your time is absorbed shipping orders, making ads, ordering inventory, managing everything. Now, I personally love the theory of constraints. It's about identifying the one main bottleneck in your business, solving it, and moving on. But the bottleneck here is hard to see because you have the people, you have some success, but you're not growing, you're just stuck. So let me help you out. Your constraint here is focus. And the way past the focus constraint is leadership. Now, I work with e-commerce brands every day, and after watching a lot of founders try to grow their businesses, I've noticed they often get stuck on leadership because they did not get into e-commerce to manage a bunch of people, and I'm sure you didn't either. And what makes you great as an e-com founder is that you're a really hard worker, and you're a very creative problem solver, and you're able to handle a huge workload alone. But here's the problem. Your independence is what got you here, but now it's the very thing holding you back. And this is hard news for most e-com founders because growing will require you to give up control. There just is no other way to do it. But the good news, leadership is the one skill that unlocks everything else in your business because being an excellent leader allows your business to reflect all of your strengths and none of your weaknesses. So let's talk about leadership. What is it and how do you become a great leader for your e-commerce company? Leadership is one of those words that gets used so much it almost stops meaning anything. So here's how I like to think about it. Leadership is the ability to influence people toward a shared goal. That's it. It's not a title, it's not a personality, it's not being the loudest person in the room, it's definitely not that. It's about supporting other people to move toward a shared goal. Now, when we think leadership, we often think about leaders who rule through authority and pressure, do it because I said so, right? That's command and control, and it might work in the short run, but it burns people out, kills trust with people, and it creates a team that resents their leader. Then there's the other end of the spectrum, and honestly, it's where the best leaders live and operate. It's called servant leadership. Servant leadership is exactly what it sounds like. Instead of sitting at the top of the org chart, expecting everyone to serve you, you flip it. You exist to serve the people on your team. Now, I know that might kind of sound soft or maybe impractical, but it's really not. This is the hardest form of leadership you can walk into. And for a small e-commerce brand trying to scale, this model fits perfectly. Because you're not managing a corporation, you're building a small team of people who need to trust you, believe in what you're doing, and bring their best every day. So what does servant leadership actually look like? It comes down to beliefs first and then behavior. It starts on the inside with what you actually believe about people. So the first belief of a servant leader is that they genuinely believe their people are valuable, not just useful, but valuable. So pay attention, I really want you to hear this. Every person on your team has real worth that has nothing to do with how productive they are. And from that comes a second belief, that people are your greatest asset, not your inventory, not your ad budget, definitely not your brand, but the people, the right people, developed well, they'll solve every other problem in your business. And the third belief sounds counterintuitive until you've lived it, is I win by giving away. The servant leader understands that the more they invest in the people around them, the more everything grows. You don't hoard knowledge or credit or opportunity, you give it away and it comes back multiplied. Our beliefs about people and our motives dictate our behaviors. So I invite you to seriously consider your personal beliefs about people. Are they inherently valuable in your eyes? Are they your greatest asset? And do you believe that you win the most by giving away? Honestly, think about it. Don't just give the right answer, give the honest one, because nothing else is going to work in your leadership until you believe these fundamental truths about people. When you ground yourself in the right beliefs, the right behaviors of the servant leader naturally follows. So first, a servant leader empowers people. You give responsibility and authority with support. You give the freedom to make decisions without checking with you first. Let's go through each of those real quick. So responsibility means you give someone a clear expected outcome. For example, finish updating our site by May. This is a clear outcome that makes it obvious what they are responsible for. Second, authority. You give the person the ability to use whatever resources, people, and time you give them to reach the outcome. You're going to give your person the authority to decide how they reach the outcome. And then third is support. Your job as the leader is to support them with resources, suggestions, coaching, and anything else to help them get the job done. You stop short of doing the job for them, but give them everything else they need to succeed. So, for example, You're managing ad spend right now, but it takes most of your time. You want to delegate it and give it away. You want to empower someone else in this area. So here's how you do it. Give the person the responsibility of an expected outcome. Get return on ad spend to 3.2 or higher by May. Very clear, time-oriented. And then you give them the authority. You can do whatever it takes to get there, and the support. I'll train you on what I've done in the past, and then I'll check in once a week to see how you're doing. I'll give any tips that I've picked up over the years, but I'm going to allow you to lead this area. This is a direct antidote to the focus constraint. When your team can act without you, you actually get your time back. And this is how we empower others. The servant leader, they also care for their people. They're not just about what they produce, but who they are. How are they doing? What's hard right now? Do they feel seen? Again, this isn't soft. This is how you build trust. And people work harder and smarter for leaders who actually care about them. So take time to get to know your people. What are their strengths and weaknesses? What do they love? What do they hate? What do they care about most? Just connect with them. And on a small team, this is easy. You should know them all personally. It gets harder as your organization expands though. The servant leader, they also invest in people. Training, coaching, they help people get better at their job and grow in their role because they know an investment in their team is an investment in their business. They are the same thing. So empowering, caring, investing, this is how you build an incredible team. So here's where it actually gets practical for a sec. Start by being honest about where you are right now. Are you leading this way? Because most of us aren't. I'm not fully. Maybe you micromanage because it's just faster to do it yourself. Or maybe you've never really thought about leadership at all, and that's okay. Just be honest about the starting point where you're at. Then get clear on where you want to go. Of these three behaviors, empowering, caring, investing, which one would make the biggest difference on your team right now? Just pick one and ask yourself, why does this matter to me? Because behavior change that isn't connected to something you actually care about, it doesn't stick. You could tie it to your team. You could tie it to the business you're trying to build. You could tie it to the kind of leader you want to be. Tie it to the kind of person you want to be. And then pick one small step, not a full transformation. It's not realistic. Just one thing you could do this week that moves you a little closer to where you want to be. So maybe it's handing off something you've been holding on to. Maybe it's having an honest conversation with someone on your team that you've been avoiding. Just something small and specific. Then lastly, tell somebody. Right? Find a person in your life who will actually ask you next week whether you followed through. Accountability is what turns our good intentions into real, actual change. This model I just described, it can be simplified into setting a vision, finding your why, deciding your actions, and getting accountability. This is the best model for human change. Vision, why, action, accountability. If you follow these steps, you will change and become a better leader. It's not possible to not change. Now, leadership is a massive topic, and I've barely scratched the surface, and honestly, I could talk about this for hours. But here's the thing I want you to walk away with. If you feel like you can't get out from under the day-to-day grind of your business, that you're stuck running it, the way out isn't just hiring someone or finding a 3PL to hand your fulfillment to, or an agency to run more ads for you. It starts with becoming the kind of leader people want to follow, that people grow under, that people trust enough to actually carry the weight with you and not just do the job for you. That is servant leadership, and it's the real way through the focus constraint. Level up your leadership, and you level up your business. I'm Jake from EcoShip. If you want to talk through any of this, you can reach out to me at jake@ecoship.com. Thanks. I'll see you in the next one.